Congressman Khanna is a Democrat of California. He joins me now. First, your reaction to two federal judges today, both of which basically saying you have the power to, you have the power to do this, or you actually have to do it right now.
Chris, this isn't a political issue. It's a moral issue. The judges are saying there's going to be irreparable harm if you don't give the food benefits. And obviously, if kids go hungry, 16 million Americans, kids go hungry, and 42 million Americans go hungry, that's irreparable harm. But what offends me is, I've got a district, NVIDIA is going to $5 trillion of market value, $18 trillion of value in my district, and we can't feed hungry kids in America? I mean, something is really off.
I want to play you what the Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, said today. Now, it's USDA, U.S. Department of Agriculture, that administers the SNAP program. She was there with Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson, by the way, who called those lawsuits today frivolous before the plaintiffs won them. Here's what Brooke Rollins had to say about the country failing its citizens.
Your government is failing you. If you are in a position where you can't feed your family and you're relying on that $187 a month for an average family in the SNAP program, that we have failed you.
And it's clarifying. When she says we have failed you, she means we, the Democrats, okay?
That was a nice save by the speaker there. We have failed you, meaning we, the Democrats. But at some level, she's right? Like, there is some enormous failure here, both that so many Americans are in a position where they depend on this to make ends meet, and the idea that this shutdown could imperil those funds.
Absolutely, Chris. Well, one, there's a failure because we don't have a living wage in this country, and we're subsidizing corporations to pay starvation wages while taxpayers are providing these benefits. That's the real failure. But, I've seen Mike Johnson everywhere other than in Congress. And Josh Hawley, a Republican senator from Missouri, has a bill where he says, let's at least vote to extend the SNAP benefits. Many of us Democrats, Republicans in the House would vote for that. He could call that bill up tomorrow. He has kept the Congress shut down over the last 6 weeks. That is a complete failure.
Yeah, and do you think if a snap vote on that no pun intended, on this on say Monday, I think it would pass, right? Just like, let's fund SNAP.
It would pass. It would pass. I mean, it's Hawley's bill with Peter Welch, who is a thoughtful progressive, but there are like 9 Republicans on the bill. Democrats would vote for that. We'd vote to pay our troops. We'd vote to pay federal workers. I mean, that's the other thing. November 1st, people are going to stop getting paid, a lot of essential federal workers. But Johnson has shut down the entire Congress, and he's not allowing any of these bills to come up. Well, and then he's showing up with the Secretary of Agriculture. Yeah, we'll continue with that logic, right? So what if I say to you, okay, you'd vote for all those things. Why don't you just, talk to Democrats in the Senate, tell them to vote for a clean CR, and all that happens and the government opens up? Well, because that's accepting the entire budget, as you know, Chris. And let me give you the example of what that would mean if we didn't fight for the extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits. There's a couple in West Virginia. They make $85,000. They just got a notice. They're going to have to pay $48,000 more in the Affordable Care Act.
More?
If we don't extend $48,000 more, $4,000 a month, and they're making $85,000. There are cases like this across America. There are 3.5 million people who lose their health care. All we're saying is keep the tax credit for the Affordable Care Act, and that's why the Democrats are fighting. But we are ready to pay the troops, to pay federal workers, and to make sure we extend SNAP benefits. What we're not ready to do is have a $1 trillion Pentagon budget while they're bombing, as your last segment, ships off Venezuela, and say we're not going to invest in the health care of this country.
Since you brought that up, let me ask you, I didn't get a chance to ask Congressman Raskin this, although I suspect I know his answer. Do you think it would be lawful for regime change strikes or strikes on military installations inside Venezuela without any congressional authorization?
Absolutely not, and it's chilling. I mean, the Wall Street Journal and Miami Herald reporting today that the president is getting ready to strike inside Venezuela. And then, you know what? As a citizen of this country, when my government is striking boats in international waters and killing people, which is the capital punishment, I'd like to know why we're killing people and what the rationale is. I mean, we're just killing people on these boats. The Colombian president identified one of them as a fisherman, and he gave the names of the family members of this fisherman, and we've said nothing to contradict what he said. So we're taking strikes on boats without any rationale, and now the president's getting ready on a regime change war in Venezuela when he ran against endless wars, and this country, since the Iraq War, Chris, has been voting against these wars, and they're just frustrated that we keep getting a foreign policy establishment that doesn't do what they want.
And we're 6 weeks in, is that right? Or 5 weeks into a shutdown? And it's going to go another week. Are you going to be in D.C. next? Like, what are Democrats going to do next week when Mike Johnson wants you all to just sit on your duff?
We're here. Look, I fly back this weekend to California. I'm going tomorrow. Zohran Mamdani's rally. He's the most inspiring candidate this time, so I'm excited. I'm going to be with him in the Queens tomorrow. Then I go to California. Then I'm back in Washington, as are 95% of Democrats. They're here in Washington, and we're ready to vote. And I think this is what's not symmetrical. Yes, we could argue about the shutdown. We want health care extensions. They want tax credits. But we're we're the party that's willing to show up and vote on these funding for troops, for federal workers. They're just not here.
Congressman Khanna, who is there, as you see from the backdrop. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.